All right, this is Shady Elders, and you're listening to a Literati podcast.
Welcome to episode 54 of the Literati Records podcast. I'm, of course, your host, Marcus, and I want to thank you for tuning in, turning on, and supporting independent music. On the show today, we have Shady Elders, an amazing Colorado quartet whose appearance at the Westward Music Showcase was probably one of my highlights of the day, as we continue our spotlight on Holy Underground, a local artist development company co-founded by James Irvine and Ethan Converse. But before we go any further, let's knock out the housekeeping items. We still haven't heard from our June winner of our cash giveaway. If your email begins JenBeshore, JenBeshore, send us an email from that account to literati@literatirecords.com and claim your cash prize. We also encourage you to connect with us on Facebook and Twitter. This is where we interact directly with the larger independent music community. And don't forget, you can always send us an email to literati@literatirecords.com. All of the music on today's show is from the No Favors EP from Shady Elders. For a complete track listing, visit our website at www.literatirecords.com. Now, enjoy Shady Elders. I'm down here at Larimer Lounge with my guest, Shady Elders. Let's go around the table and everybody kind of give their names and instruments.
I'm Marlon. I play drums.
I'm Britt, and I'm the vocalist, and I play guitar.
I'm Casey. I play bass.
Miles, and I play guitar as well.
Well, for those who might not be familiar with the band, could you give us a brief history of how the band formed?
The band started a few years back. It was a two-piece with me and another old drummer, so it was just drums and guitar. And then I met Miles. He was in a band called Tulip Wars that was kind of wrapping up. And the lead singer of that band sent him my way. We got together and talked about music and found out we had a lot in common. And we got together, played some music together, and it clicked really well. So he joined the band. And then I met Casey. I've known Casey actually for a really long time. But we were short a bass player, and he's actually originally... he's a guitar player and a lead singer, but he originally joined the band just to kind of help out, play some bass, and he ended up enjoying it and having a good time with it, and now he's a permanent member. And then I met Marlon, who I've known also just through the Denver music scene for a while. He was in a band called Spires, and we met and just same thing. We all got together and played some songs, and it just went really, really well. And here we are, a year later.
Well, prior to Shady Elders, you were playing pretty much solo acoustic music, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Has the transition to an electrified group setting been a challenge at all?
Not really. I mean, because I think that's originally what I've always been wanting to do. Like, that's where I draw a lot of influences and, electric sound and not really so much acoustic sound. So it was more fun than anything. I think the only challenge was just having to move from an acoustic to an electric guitar, because there's a lot of... It's just different. Like, people would say it's the same, but I don't think it's the same at all. It's way different pedals and just like different techniques, different styles, things like that. So I'd say that was a challenge. I had to work at it for a while, and I'm still working at it. It takes time to master your craft. So
develop that chemistry with everyone.
Yeah. I mean, I think the chemistry musically has always been there. I mean, like from the moment it started, it was just like it clicked. So that was nice. We didn't have to work at that at all.
Well, that kind of brings me to my next question. Your No Favors EP, which is fantastic, by the way, was released through Hot Congress at the beginning of April.
Yes.
That seems really quick considering your brief time together. Did everything just kind of fall into place?
For the most part, yes. There was some songs that had already been written prior to to what we've developed in the past year, but not that many. I mean, there was like 2 songs, I would say, that were completely written before this band formed, that we took on as Shady Elders as a band. But we just, once we get in there and we're like in the practice space and we're writing, I mean, we just work hard, and it really does actually happen fast.
And being veterans, generally speaking, we all knew what we wanted straight out of the gate. We wanted to record something, so we kind of hit the ground running and let's get in the studio, let's write some stuff for an EP, and get it out there, just to make a statement immediately as soon as possible.
And it seems like y'all must have kind of been on the same page, which helps a lot, having everybody kind of focused on the same goal a little bit.
Right, yeah. I mean, I remember I was talking about this the other day with Casey, Miles has been in the band for a while, the longest out of all of these guys, and I just remember at one point him being like, okay, we gotta record. When are we gonna record? And then once the band was fully formed, I was like, okay, yeah, you're right. Now it's time. Now that we have all the members, and now that everything's sounding good and everything's gelling really well, it was the right time for sure.
Now, Casey, you were quoted as saying, "Everyone in this band can write songs. I've never been in a band like that. I would say this is the most talented band I've ever been in." How do you all keep that from becoming a control issue or a power struggle?
Well, it's always going to be a little bit of a struggle, but I think we just sort of, have learned to like listen to each other and to just recognize when the majority doesn't really like the way it's going sometimes.
You have to be willing to let go of your idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And we've all been turned down. We've all had an idea that like someone's like everybody else doesn't agree, and then we're like, all right.
It's a pretty easy process. Like, just shoot an idea out. If everybody's like, no, like, all right, cool. We just generally try to try.
That dead horse,
we just try to try
Yeah.
everybody's idea, and then we pick the one we like the most. And I mean, that also I think comes from the experience of everybody, and just having worked in other bands previously and dealt with the issues that we probably all dealt with, of people having ego problems and stuff, and just more just trying to get things out than worry about making somebody mad or getting somebody angry.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a sign of, sort of a nice respect that we all have for each other, that, we're all willing to put an idea out there and then see that the other three don't like it, and be like, all right, well, I trust you guys as artists. If you don't like it, then maybe it's not a good idea.
There are actually a few songs that we've had where I know me and him have, like, he'll think that the song's not really gonna, or there's one we just wrote that I was like, I'm not sure about this, but then once it was finally finished, I was like, oh wait, never mind, this is a great song, I like it. So just kind of, in the end, we rely on everybody to not be an idiot.
Well, a recent Westward article referred to you all as an indie rock supergroup of sorts. And a lot has been written about your prior musical projects. Did those things ever cause you to feel any pressure or a need to meet a certain expectation or exceed anything you've done before?
No.
You just kind of...
So the whole supergroup thing...
Every day I wake up, it's like that.
It's the pressure on my back.
Right? I can't sleep at night.
Get that monkey off.
No, the whole supergroup thing kind of was a joke. Like, we started out like us, kind of talking about... We were in an interview with Westward, telling them all the bands we'd been in, and it was like a joke of like, oh, we're like a supergroup of sorts.
And then they printed that.
And then they
it was
printed
just
it.
kind of like, oh wow, so okay.
Yeah, it was a headline, I believe.
Right. But, like,
Right. We don't
honestly,
view ourselves
to
like
like
that.
I think to the root of the question, like, I don't think he's probably had the most successful band in the group, but Spires was doing some good things, but it's its own thing. This has always been its own thing. Once it kind of congealed is what it is, that I don't think that's ever come into any sort of like we've got to meet up with the Don't Be Careful success or whatever.
None of us were in Radiohead.
No, right. Yeah, it wasn't in
So it can only be so super.
You don't have a What Would Spires Do bumper sticker.
Yeah, and success is relative. I mean, as long as like a band is happy, I think, and you're having a good time, that's success.
And honestly, for me, this band is the most proud I've ever been of a band. And Spires was my baby with my friend Justin. But this band, I'm so proud of this band because it's just like, it's freeing. Everybody's cool. We don't freak out about writing and stuff. It's just, let's write good music and have fun doing it. That's extremely relieving.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're currently working with the fine folks over there at Holy Underground. You're in the Hot Congress collective of artists. So far, the press has been very positive towards you guys, and Radio 1190 was quick to champion the band.
Yeah.
What has that kind of validation meant to you collectively as a band and individually as artists?
Well, I would say, I mean, I don't know if I want to speak for the entire band, but I will say that it makes me just want to just keep going further. That's been a lot of success here in Colorado and in Denver, and I feel like if we were able to have that kind of success here, I don't see any reason why we can't do it in other states in the U.S. or, for that matter, somewhere else in the world. So my aspirations for this band are like limitless.
Yeah. For me, it's like kind of freeing because as like a local band, you constantly, your first year or two almost is seeking local validation, and to get it almost instantly with this band, it kind of gets rid of that, and you can just trudge on forward from having to waste that year or two, not waste, but spend that year or two trying to get everybody around you locally to say, okay, yeah, you're a good band, we'll put you on our bills and put you on our shows.
I think touring is going to maybe be that's next step that we need to take as a band to get the other states to recognize us, and and maybe just keep writing. New music is also going to be the other key.
We're always writing.
Yeah.
Well, this will be my first time seeing you guys play live. As musicians and performers, what kind of vibe or energy do you hope to get across to your audience?
Fun, excitement.
Well, we've talked about, Casey and I have talked about a lot of times, like about just in the style of songs that we write, we hope, this is our hope, to actually, instead of people like, mosh pitting and jumping up and down and being crazy, we actually just would prefer to hypnotize people and maybe send people to an altered state of mind. Take them a place.
We want to be like drugs.
Yeah.
Basically. No. But
No.
yeah, it's like
People
sort
who enjoy
of,
it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I think it's just really cool when I'm at a show and I'm just sort of like dumbstruck by how like nice everything is and how it all sounds together and all the elements are working together, and I want to be like an arresting sort of band, and hopefully that comes across.
That's one thing I'm a big proponent of, is just a professional performance. Like it can always be better. It can always be more rehearsed. It's just like I've told them a couple times. It's like you're not really, and it's not a competition, but you're not competing with your local bands like your Hindershots, your Morning Clouds, stuff like that. You're competing with your idols. You're competing with Sonic Youth, Grizzly Bear, Bloody Valentine. That's who you're trying to be. So if you want to get to that level, you've got to play at that level. So that's kind of, from my perspective, what I would like to be put across in a live show, is just very well played and performed and rehearsed and tight, solid performance.
Yeah, something, Britt and I just saw a show recently, Father John Misty, and that was a really interesting, performance. I was kind of inspired. We think we were both pretty inspired by that, because they were really good live, but just, I don't know, the guy was very magnetic and had a really interesting, I don't know, he just is
Charisma,
he's really
it's a charm.
charismatic.
It's a charm
Yeah.
that some people put out on stage. That's
We
And I think that's
don't
something
have that yet, but
No.
it would be cool to develop.
Yeah, right. Well, I think that
Let's start
as
working on that.
musicians,
I want to start working on it.
you should always go to other shows, whether
Yeah.
it be big shows, local shows. Go to shows as much as possible, because I've found personally, I don't know about the other guys, I pick up so much inspiration just from going to a show and being on the other side, being in the crowd, not being on stage, because I see so much more, and then I learn more about myself in the process. Okay, maybe I'm being a little too shy on stage, maybe I need to open up more, because you get captivated by other people, and I think it always comes full circle. If you're getting captivated all the time by going out and watching shows, you will put that out there once it's your turn to get on stage.
Yeah.
Also, for me, when I go see shows, I love to see a band that I know to be absolutely spectacular, but as a musician, you can spot when a band is having a bad night. And I love to see a band, when they're having a bad night, still kill it. And just go right through that, because every band has a rough show here or there, and it's just, that's, to me, is what separates the men from the boys, is the band that doesn't get mad at everybody after a bad show and you messed up that line and you didn't beat your tag and blah blah blah, and just trudge through a bad show and continue to try to put on the best performance they can, even though they played that song 100,000 times.
Absolutely. Do you guys listen to your own stuff?
I do.
I know some musicians are like, I don't listen to anything.
Every day.
Yeah, okay. So,
I listen.
that's a really touchy thing for some people.
I listen to the EP probably once a week since it was released, or since we finished it, because I like to listen back for next time we go into the studio, it'd be nice to do this that we didn't do this time, or there's something missing here that we could have done a little bit better. It's always, I listen to it on a more critiquing. Sometimes I'll take a month from listening to it and then listen to it again, and then it hits me. I'm like, this was really well done. I really like this. You can kind of pull out and hear it from the audience perspective, but it's usually I listen to it on a try to improve the next outing kind of vantage point.
I was going to say, I can't listen to it without it being sort of like a cerebral academic experience, so basically I don't listen to it. When we were recording it, I listened to it obsessively.
Sure.
Yeah.
Critiquing every little...
Get drunk,
every
it helps.
little note, every little tone, everything.
Or does it?
And then, but once it's done, and I know we're not making any more changes to it, it's hard for me to listen to it. I mean, not because I don't enjoy it. Like, I can listen to it and enjoy it, but it's a very cerebral enjoyment. When, like, for the most part with music, I listen to it for, like, you know, for joy, but I'm this close to it that, like, I can't have just, like, an emotional experience. It's all just, like, I still can't keep myself from hearing, like, man, I wish we did this differently, I wish we had done this differently.
Yeah. I mean,
and even the positives are, like, a very academic, like, this goes in the pro column, you know, which is not really how music should be listened to.
Right.
So that's not how, so
I mean, I would say for me, I don't seek it out. I don't, like, I'm not at home, like, you know, cleaning the place and, like, I'm going to throw in some Shady Elders. But if it comes, like, if I'm in the car and I'm listening to Open Air and one of our songs comes up, I don't change the station.
Yeah.
I listen to it because I think it's kind of interesting too.
I actually do.
It's like interesting to listen to it in that like AM lo-fi. Because you know, I mean, like we're so used to listening to it like in the studio in huge speakers and like a great system, or even at home we have a great system. So like when it plays on the radio, it's kind of like this is kind of nice to hear it.
This is how the rest of the world hears it.
Yeah, this is how everybody else hears it, and so I usually don't change it. But I don't like. I'm the same way. Like it brings me back to that like state of mind where like when we were recording, just like how meticulous all of us were, and then I just kind of have to like be like, no.
I listen to it all the time, actually. I'm not even kidding. I'll put it in just to listen to it.
Well, I always figured part of the cool thing about being in a band is to make the kind of music you want to hear.
Yeah, I enjoy it. Like,
yeah.
that might sound egotistical, but I enjoyed it, and I
if
listen
I
to
can't
it
listen
regularly.
to it, how would I expect somebody else to?
It's very true.
Yeah,
I got pretty sick of it.
Sure.
Honestly, and then like
there was like
a couple months
yeah.
after we released it, I like listened to it again, and then it was like, oh, this is pretty good.
Well, what's next on the agenda for Shady Elders? Do some touring or more recording?
Both. Yeah. We're still writing. We're constantly writing. We have a lot of new material that we're just going to kind of keep writing. The goal is to record another EP this fall, and then maybe followed by a tour, possibly in the spring. Yeah, I mean, and also, you know, with Hot Congress, like, they, you know, hopefully they're making some strides now to, like, get themselves out there more on the map, and they usually have a few bands they take down to South by Southwest, as well as Holy Underground, so we can maybe cross our fingers that maybe that'll be us, you
also
know.
Dynamite Laserbeam.
And Dynamite Laserbeam, yeah.
They're working on getting licensing. They're handling that for us, trying to get licensing deals and things like that. So
cool.
That's hopefully in the future as well. So.
Well, guys, it's been great getting to know you a little more. You got a show coming up. Thanks a lot for your time.
Absolutely.
Great show
Thank you
tonight.
Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.